Hello, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to the Hong Kong FinTech Week. My name is King Leong, Head of FinTech at Invest Hong Kong. First of all, talent is such an amazing and important aspect of the FinTech ecosystem in Hong Kong. And as you all would agree, this is arguably the single most important factor to the ongoing success of FinTech in Hong Kong going forward. So today, we are very privileged to have three very distinguished speakers with us to share with us their own experience and the vision in promoting talent growth in Hong Kong going forward. So first off, we have Mr. Joseph Chan, the Undersecretary for Financial Services and the Treasury. Second, we have Mr. Kelvin Choi, the Chairman and CEO of AMTD Group. And third, we have Professor K.Y. Tam, the Dean of Business School at the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. So with that, I just want to set the stage about the discussion today. Now, when we look at the recent reports published by the HKUST, there's been a lot of insights about the current situation on talent in Hong Kong. And more specifically, there have been a lot of feedback from the private sector about the shortages for talent in different aspects, from the data science to UI, UX, and a whole host of insights that are very valuable for policymakers, the enterprise leaders, and also the education leaders for us to figure out what should be the roadmap for us going forward. Now, so with that, I just want to have Joseph to share a few thoughts with us in terms of, from a policymaker's perspective, what do you think have been the major initiatives from governments that have been helping us to propel the talent growth and nurturing going forward? So Joseph, off to you.
Thank you, King. Well, first of all, FinTech is a people's business. We need talents who have financial services oriented and at the same time with technology know-how and also creativity. And that's why talents are very, very important to the development of FinTech in Hong Kong. In order to nurture local talents, 6 local universities have already rolled out FinTech programs across undergraduate and postgraduate. In addition to tertiary education, on-the-job training and also work experience are also very important in terms of grooming our local talents. And that's why under our Hong Kong government's Anti-Epidemic Fund, we have launched the FinTech Anti-Epidemic Scheme for Talent Development Program. This scheme provides financial assistance to local companies engaged in the FinTech sector to create new jobs with a quota of 1,000 new positions over 1 year. In addition, it's also important to embrace our existing market practitioners in the financial service industry to increase the know-how in FinTech. And that's why it's also this year, we have launched the Financial Practitioners FinTech Training Program, in which we actually subsidize our market practitioners to attain FinTech training to enrich the FinTech talent pool and promote the adoption of innovative FinTech solutions in the traditional financial service sector. Apart from nurturing the local talents, we also realize it's important to some of the FinTech companies to also able to employ experts and experienced market practitioners from the mainland or the overseas. And that's why under our Quality Migrant Admission Scheme, we actually have launched a talent list in which FinTech is one of the items under the talent list. So FinTech talents are actually granted additional facilitation to be admitted into Hong Kong through the Quality Migrant Admission Schemes. In addition, there's another scheme called the Technology Talent Admission Scheme, where eligible FinTech or technology talents, especially in the R&D area, could enjoy fast-track arrangement for them to join the Hong Kong labor force here. So all in all, you can see that the Hong Kong government places great importance to developing the talent pool for FinTech development in Hong Kong, and we have launched a wide range of measures to achieve that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Joseph. I think this is so important to hear from you in terms of the government's policy bureau's effort to set the stage and also the direction for us going forward. This is very helpful. Thank you, Joseph. Now, at the same time, I would like to hear from Kelvin and also Dean Tam as well, because obviously, now Kelvin, for those of you who may not be familiar with MTD has been in so many different areas in promoting FinTech in Hong Kong. Of course, from the virtual bank to being an investor, and at the same time, MTD also has a FinTech center at the Polytechnic University. So that's why I think Kelvin's perspective will be very helpful to help us to understand from both the demand side and also supply side, and how you help to promote the talent growth to feed the demand in Hong Kong. And then followed by Dean Tam also just completed this very exhaustive and comprehensive talent manpower study, which I'd like to hear from you in terms of the overall perspective of how the ecosystem is producing and helping to grow the talent base. So with that, perhaps I will start with Kelvin to hear from you to say a few words on this topic. So Kelvin.
Thank you, King. From AMTD side, I think we are very glad to have our global headquarters based in Hong Kong. I think not only that from the Hong Kong government side, as we just heard from Joseph, that there are lots of focuses into talents. I think same thing for AMTD as we build out our overall financial services, building out of our overall businesses. At the same time, I think we look a lot into whether we have the right talent base to support our future growth. So I think over the past few years of building out of AMTD, I focus a lot into ecosystem building. So ecosystem focusing into our vast community, I think not just in Hong Kong, but regionally, I think with the strategic partners, with any other companies that could create more synergies, I think to our overall value creations for our clients. We work with our shareholders, we work with our investing companies, and many different other partners or alliance parties. But ultimately, what we are seeing is really about connecting the dots, not only just with the companies, but really with the people. So exactly like what Joseph has indicated, I think FinTech, is really about people businesses. So I think, we focus a lot, I think, into developing our own talents, but also finding talents, outside in the market to support our further growth of building out the company. So I think there are several areas of, focuses that we have invested over the past few years. Number one, I think King has already introduced a bit. We partnered with the Polytechnic University 2 years ago, created the first FinTech school in Hong Kong. And very happy that now we have a formal program providing PhD degree in FinTech. So I think out from Hong Kong, but one of the very rare of such program across Asia. And secondly, we also look into not just Hong Kong, but for the broader base, the Greater Bay, how we can connect from the Greater Bay to Southeast Asia, for example, and to cover the rest of Asia. So we partner with two Singapore universities, the Singapore Management University and also the National University of Singapore, together with our partner, Xiaomi. I think as most of you know that we have created a virtual bank, thanks to the Hong Kong government, the HKMA, giving out the 8 virtual banking license. So we, together with Xiaomi, partnered with the two universities, created what we call the XC program to support and develop the digital finance leadership for tomorrow. And focusing into specific FinTech talents, we also look into not just generic FinTech overall, but into specialty areas. So recently, we are very glad that we rolled out a cybersecurity center. We call it Advise Cyber Center, together with the Cyberport, and also together with Ernst & Young, with University of Waterloo, with IQ4, a global mobility platform. Together, we built out this center, promoting awareness towards the topic, including also data privacy, cyber security on an overall basis, but also into particular areas of grooming talents in the special area. So I think, alongside with all the government programs, I think Joseph has introduced, we are very much confident that Hong Kong can be the hub for FinTech talents into the future.
Great. Thank you so much, Kelvin. Now, I guess this is also very helpful to see also from the academia perspective from Dean Tam, because based on what Kelvin just said, from a private sector perspective, there have been quite a lot of initiatives and also recognition for the needs for talents. Now, I think that Dean Tam, perhaps you can shed some lights based on your recent manpower study, which I believe I also attended that launch events. It was a host of findings. I found my head spinning because of all these insights coming out. But if you were to really single out, what are the things that Hong Kong has done well in promoting that growth of talent? What would that be? So Dean Tam, up to you.
Okay, thank you, King. In fact, Hong Kong started planning on FinTech quite a number of years ago. I still remember in 2015, the Hong Kong government actually set up a steering group on FinTech, and then consult a lot of stakeholders over 1 year and come up with a report which is released in 2016. The report actually outlined a number of policy recommendations. Many of them actually have been implemented. For example, setting up a FinTech office at HKMA, and also the issue of virtual bank and virtual insurance license. So all these policy initiatives actually propel Hong Kong to become a FinTech hub in the world. Now, I think the challenge right now is the lack of talent. I think it's not just a challenge facing Hong Kong, it's a global challenge. All the FinTech hubs in the entire world actually looking for talents at this point in time. So for the university, I think as Kelvin just mentioned, the local university have started to roll out FinTech programs at undergrad and also master level. We did a little survey. We actually called the program directors of every program in the 6 institutions in Hong Kong and try to have understanding what is the supply of FinTech professional at the graduate level, including undergrad and master in the next few years. I would say in the next 1 or 2 years, the supply remains low. We are talking about 150 or 200 degree graduates every year, but it will grow to about 500 in 2024. If you also count degrees in AI, big data, business analytics, you're talking about 2,000 graduates every year of about 4 to 5 years from now. So that is a significant number. But of course, in the interim period, we still have to face this challenge of the lack of talent. So I'm very grateful that I think FSTB, Cyberport, HKMA, and SFC, and also IA, they've been working very closely to meet the talent needs. And I do see success in many of these initiatives. So I'm hopeful that maybe in 4 to 5 years, Hong Kong will have quite a strong supply of talent, just locally, to meet the industry need. And that's not counting recruiting talent from overseas, which is, I guess, the mandate of US Hong Kong. So.
Great. So thank you, Dean Tam. In fact, I think I've been having different conversations regarding other programs that are providing training and upskilling of the existing professionals working in the financial services sector. So there's also another, I would say, major source of talents. I would say transform talents, if you will. Now, but at the end of the day, regardless how much we do, they'll always come to the point about now we have to attract talents. At the same time, we want to retain talents. So with that, I want to also ask for the insights from the 3 speakers, starting from Joseph again. And that is, from your perspective, from a policymaker and also from Kelvin, a private sector leader, and Dean Tam, a leader from the education institution. So what are the advantages of Hong Kong in recruiting and also retaining talents? So with that, maybe we can start with Joseph first.
Sure.
Joseph, up to you.
Sure, thank you, King. I think to begin with, I would say FinTech talents are looking for opportunities, career opportunities in the FinTech area. Well, Hong Kong is the leading international financial center in Asia, and therefore naturally, we are well positioned to be the FinTech hub of the region as well. If we look at capital markets, Hong Kong raised the most raised funds through IPO the most, ranked #1 globally last year, which is the 7th year in the last 11 years that we ranked #1 in the world. If we're looking at the asset and wealth management business, We're talking about 3.7 trillion US dollar of AUM at the end of last year, which again leading the league table in Asia, and also presented a 20% increase over the previous year. If we look at insurance, we rank number one both by the concentration of insurers and by insurance density in Asia as well. So all in all, you can see that Hong Kong is the leading international financial center in the region, and naturally is the ideal place for fintech companies to develop their business here, because they will enjoy tremendous access to potential clients, to potential partners, and also to potential investors as well, as many of the financial institutions globally would set up the regional headquarters here in Hong Kong or have great presence here in Hong Kong as well. In addition to our traditional strength as the leading international financial center in Asia, another key point is the fact that we are the gateway not only to China, but particularly to the Greater Bay Area. As the Greater Bay Area opening up its economy and markets to the rest of the world, Hong Kong, as the only international financial center in the region, will enjoy and provide tremendous opportunities to our market practitioners as well. And that's why so far, I've always heard many fintech companies who come to Hong Kong to use Hong Kong as the hub to penetrate into Asia, mainland China, and the Greater Bay Area markets, and vice versa. A lot of mainland Chinese fintech companies use Hong Kong as the hub to target the rest of the world as well. So that's why I believe we have great opportunities for the fintech talents, and so far we've seen tremendous progress on this space. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph. Now, I guess after listening from the policymaker perspective, so Kelvin, I'd like to hear from you, from the boss, because you are hiring lots of people, not in Hong Kong, also other parts in Asia. So what's your view about what Hong Kong has to offer?
I think everything Joseph has just mentioned, I think represent music to the ears, I think, of companies like AMTD. I think we are born in Hong Kong, build out our overall business in Hong Kong. And in fact, we employ and engage with lots of Hong Kong people and talents. And we serve, the Hong Kong market, I think, as the core essence, as how we build out our overall the businesses and our development, I think, over the past few years. Looking into Hong Kong, I think several things, it's very important. And one is that we see it as a connector. That ourselves, AMTD, we are also positioning ourselves as the connector, I think, for international investors, institutional communities, or any other partners into this side of the market. But into China, we serve as a perfect window or the hub to bridge and to provide the facilitation. And in fact, how we see that, our role is not only connecting outside into China, but also, from China into the rest of the world. But in particular, I think for the rest of Asia, the ASEAN market also presents a huge opportunity. So how we can connect the dots, I think, present enormous areas of possibility, I think, for a Hong Kong company like AMTD. So I think all this, I think, represents something very much important for talents. Because for talents, you not only need the job opportunity, you not only need some very good company, but you need the practical situation of businesses to apply, to train, and to build. So on an overall basis, I think Hong Kong, I think it's enjoying ourselves, I think, with a significant amount of momentum over the past few years. In fact, AMTD is just like, one of the very good product of Hong Kong. Then the several areas that Joseph mentioned, we have built out ourselves as a very active investment bank, a Hong Kong investment bank, but with global outreach. We built ourselves as a very active asset management player, helping the world market, but especially, I think, for money in Hong Kong for asset allocation. But also, we take advantage of the opportunity, of the virtual bank. So I think, as we build out, our own self, I think we tap into the every strengths and also the resilience of Hong Kong, I think, over a pandemic. But at the same time, we are seeing lots of opportunities, not only for us as an organization, but in fact, for our talents and also future talents to join AMTD.
Great. Thank you so much, Kelvin. I think just now you brought out a very important point, being a connector. This is what Hong Kong's DNA is, and that is that international DNA. And also, in fact, I just had a conversation, a chat with Dean Tam over lunch today about HKUST position. In fact, HKUST always prides itself for being a very international education institution in terms of the student body. So with that, I'd like to hear from Dean Tam to talk a little bit about, from your perspective, how have you been so successful in attracting students from all around the world to make up that international profile at HKUST? And how can that translate into the advantage of Hong Kong at large when it comes to attracting students and young talents from around the world? So Dean Tam?
So actually, the advantage of HKUST are the same as Hong Kong overall. First of all, we have Hong Kong allow free flow of capital and talent. So anyone want to come to Hong Kong or study at HKUST or any other institution in Hong Kong, they're most welcome to stay. And Hong Kong also has a very strong financial system backed up by a very, very sound legal system. So that is also very attractive. Of course, not to mention about the strong support from the government. And most importantly, I would add that one really distinct advantage of Hong Kong is the immense opportunities of the Greater Bay Area Initiative, which is unmatched of in any global hub that we know at this point in time. I understand time is up, so I stop here.
Great. Okay, so thank you, Dean Tam, and also my great appreciation to the three distinguished speakers today. Undersecretary Mr. Joseph Chan, Calvin Choi, AMTD boss, and the spiritual leader, because I've been hearing from Calvin about his vision of Hong Kong, and of course our dear friend Dean Tam, HKUST, who been strong proponents of FinTech from education perspective. I just want to sort of wrap up by saying that obviously from the past experience in the FinTech Week of last year, we had participants from over 80 economies around the world. Now, many of these folks coming into Hong Kong, they're looking to really use Hong Kong as a base to springboard to other markets. And of course, I think top on their mind is, are we able to find the talents that we need if we do decide to serve in Hong Kong? So that's why I think today we are having this great opportunity to have perspective from three very important leaders in Hong Kong to, in a way, have a more holistic view about that talent picture. So again, I just want to thank our three speakers. And also I wish that all of you who are listening in now will enjoy this information. And I wish you all the best and have a good day and enjoy the rest of the Hong Kong FinTech Week. Thank you very much. Goodbye.